All right, so now we're going to be diving into number 7. So, Richie, if you want to kick off your number 7 for rankings, Survivor Wisconsin Phase 1, Seasons 1 through 4.
All right, so my 7 and 6 kept bouncing back around a couple times, and even the last couple hours, it kept switching back and forth. I feel like a lot of people might question that 7 is under 6, but my number 7 is Emma. And I feel like it's because of the fact that we saw a lot of great, like, is she the best player in the world? No, but we did see a lot of great plays from her.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it was like she always knew what to do to get herself in the best position possible. And kind of like Dakota and Cabin Fever, she wasn't really a target until like the end game. And Evolution, maybe like here and there people would start to get concerned with her, but she was never a serious target until like close to her end at least. And something that definitely popped out to me, was just the fact that she kind of reminds me of Cerie Fields in a way where people do like her, people do give her a lot of credit, people like her, and even when we were talking about Cabin Fever, socially she was in a great spot all the time, or we were even calling her at the time the best newbie up to that point because she was playing the best, she was playing smart. It's all about the social game in one way or the other, and she was playing that perfectly. The reason, and I mean, before I go into the reason I put her at number 7 and not number 6, like I originally was going to do, but she also didn't burn people. That's one thing I do want to say. She didn't burn as many people as other people below her may have done. But the reason she's not number 6 or higher, the Dolphin Sam Dan vote. That is the biggest reason I didn't have her on there and why I put my number 6 where I did. Because the logical thing to do with that situation, like, fuck loyalty, take Dolphin Sam out. Like, you know he's going to win against you. You take him out. You don't let that person squeak on by to the end. And I do get what she means. Like, I'm also friends with her outside the game. And it's literally just because of that alone. Like, I mean, obviously in Evolution, she tries to swing for the fences. It doesn't always work out for her. And in some cases, it puts a bigger target on her back. But you can't blame her for trying in that case situation. And Cabin Fever, kind of what we were saying before, there was only so many players in there that you had to kind of make the moves when you did. And sometimes it was even harder to see, like, hey, should I make the move now or should I wait an extra round and risk not getting the chance to? Emma is definitely someone I definitely want to give props to. And granted, it partially is more for Cabin Fever, but even in Evolution, it's like we did see a lot of great gameplay from her. She's smart, she knows what to do, and I don't want to compare her to Cerie Fields, but it's like she a lot of great social strategic gameplay, and I'm excited for her to eventually come back down the line, and so that we can see her play again and see her. See maybe she can finally get the win that she screwed herself out of in Cabin Fever. So Emma's really good, and that's one of the reasons that I personally wanted to put her in my top 10 to give her a little shout out, and because I do believe she's like one of the better female strategic players we've had of this new era, if you will. So
yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I'm glad you're giving Emma and Dakota more props than I am. They definitely deserve it. But yeah, Emma, she's a great player. Again, I think again for me, if she did win that season, take Dan, she would have been in my top 10 for sure. She's definitely very good though, and one of the best new players we've had. So yeah, so now my number 7. Maybe he's a little bit low, but I just think again. This is due to just like I guess it's not his fault, but just the lower level of cast he played against and just like the threat level other people bring that they're able to overcome. So my number 7 is Dolphin Sam, actually, who won Cabin Fever, played pretty much a perfect game. I was very impressed. I know he always had it in him to win a season because he's a very good social player. That was such a good social player showing. Didn't receive one vote the whole game. Won pretty handily over Emma, rightfully so. I mean, he did dominate the game. But again, I mean, I think the only reason I have him a little bit lower is just because, I mean, I hate to say it, but just the cast he was going against wasn't insane, and there wasn't a ton of players you had to overcome. There was only a 10-person cast. I know we added Redemption Island that made it a little bit longer, some more rounds. But, yeah, I mean, Dolphin Sam, he was a great player. I'm glad he won. He deserves every credit he gets. Why he won that season, why he's a good player. But again, I just think, give or say, if he played in like a season like Evolution, I don't know how great he would have done compared to Cabin Fever. But he definitely deserves props, and I just think like if these 6 people above him were in that season, I don't see them not winning. Maybe I guess, or maybe playing better. But he's also good at like keeping his threat level low. Like people don't realize how good he is at the game sometimes, which is pretty insane to do. But he's one of our. I know he played in Whitewater, but he's definitely one of our best players we've had in just Wisconsin. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you got
Cat Fever
add
also.
anything you want about him if you want.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk about Dolphin Sim later on, so I'll say most of it for then. But for Cabin Fever as a whole, I feel like there was a lot. Kind of like what we said, it was a very small cast. I feel like even having just 2 more people on definitely could have changed shit up for everyone. Even if those 2 people would have been the first 2 out, so it changes everything. And well, I do feel like there's an element of luck with how small the season is. Like, some people could consider it Twist Manor 2.0 with how people are so willing to let just 1 or 2 people take control. It's still like people were at least more active
Yeah.
than in Twit Manor. Twist Manor, I like to call it Twit Manor as a joke. But for Twist Manor, Twit Manor, whatever you guys call it, it's like Cabin Fever in some ways is like Twist Manor 2.0. In other ways, it's not. Who knows? I honestly jokingly would consider Jasper the me of Twist Manor 2.0, but that's a different story. Jasper also is unfortunately not on this list, but just for entertainment, he would be. So
Right, entertainment wise, yeah, he would be.
yeah. My number 6 then, if we're going on to number 6 now,
Yep.
is this is gonna be funny because everyone was talking about it before. Ness. And I know it's probably weird to put her up this high on this list, but again, I said all the winners are on this list somewhere. And Ness, it's the basic reason because I feel like we saw her evolve in Wisconsin 1 into really the best version of herself. And I feel like within the game, and it kind of comes down to what she did in the game, where she makes these bonds with the social player. Like, she socially, I cannot speak to this. She makes the social bonds with the Minority Alliance, which it was very clear the Minority Alliance was Vanessa, Michael, and Brienne coming into the merge. It was very clear she made these bonds. So much so that she would talk to them a lot more than not that Darius didn't talk to them. Like, Darius did talk to them here and there, but clearly we saw Ness talk to Brienne, Vanessa, and Michael more than Darius did. And I mean, I do kind of have to call it right now. In that jury roundtable, I literally remember sitting there, because I think I filmed it. I did film it. I remember I was sitting on the ground. Everything hurt that day. And I remember the first words when they're talking to the jury roundtable, the first words Vanessa said when they were talking about Darius was, "Who's Darius?" That is the thing you never want to happen when it comes out. And I don't want to knock Darius too hard for that because it wasn't Vanessa, but
Yeah.
you never, regardless of who you are, who the jury is, you never want anyone saying, "Who is this person?" when you get to the end. And there were a lot of negative comments directed kind of towards Darius's game. I don't remember which ones because it's been so fucking long. But like the fact that Ness socially put herself in a great position, like she was maybe somewhat of a risk target at the beginning, just being on her tribe and experiencing all that. She was brought up a few times at the start, but she still escapes my vote off without even getting a single vote against her. You know what I mean? Like, even though people would think she's going to be a target, she's a target. Like, I think the only few times she was a major target was like the start of the merge and maybe towards the end had things went differently, but like she's not. And like we said before, she kicks Adams and Darius's asses twice in challenges that people thought they would have won at. She holds her own very well, and I think strategically, again, she was the best version of herself. She wasn't afraid to swing for the fences when she needed to be. Now, I do know people would probably put other players above her, you know, that's fair for them to do so, but I do feel like it's kind of like what I said after we did the rankings for Legends. I said Ness had potential to win. The next season, Ness wins it. So I'm not going to say I told you so to anyone, but like I do think Ness is definitely a really great player, and I think she proved a lot about the social game. Like, Darius is a phenomenal player, and he is also somewhere on this list. I'm not going to spoil where, but Darius is also a great player too. The thing is that I think the thing that puts her on this list was that she made the smart move to talk to the Minority Alliance a lot and make those connections that really helped her on the jury. And I mean, we even saw it help directly where it's very clear those 3 weren't going to vote for Darius. That 3 coalition, whatever, Nagarodi 3, Puka Puka, whatever the fuck they were called, they were going to vote for they were always going to vote for Ness from everything we saw, because they went out of the game with a better perception of Ness than Darius. So she had great jury management, and honestly, I am excited to hopefully see her come back later down the game, like down the line in another season, because I think she definitely would kind of showcase, like, hey, people question my win, let me show you why I won. So I definitely always have seen potential in Ness. Like, she's my Survivor sister. I played with her so many times. Like, this isn't just me speaking out of my ass. Like, I know she has potential, and I'm glad she was finally able to show, like, hey, I'm a great talker. I know how to get along with people. Let me show you what I can do with that. So it's all about what she did in the game and how she was smart enough to connect not only with the majority alliance, but with the minority alliance as well. So
yeah, you new players, hopefully that we get on in the future. Take one thing away from this if you're watching this. Talk to everybody no matter what. Might win you the game. So yeah,
jury management.
Yeah, I think Ness. I mean, I had her at 10, but I definitely can see the argument for having her higher. So now my number 6 is actually gonna be someone that you left out of your list, which I was a little surprised, but I got your reasonings why. But it's gonna be Connor. Again, he was a guy I wanted to have on in the past, and I'm glad we got him in Wisconsin. The first time he played, definitely just needed to like get some experience playing it. Showed that he's really good at challenges. Showed it too early though, because immediately everybody wanted him out. So he needed to kind of just establish how to build more allies and more trust. And I mean, when he came back in Summer Solstice, I was like, I really could see him winning this. Obviously, I know it was at his house, but just looked at the cast. I made the tribes as even as possible. But I was also like, maybe people will come together and take these guys out earlier than I thought they would go out. But no, Connor definitely like all the hype I thought he was gonna that I thought of him going into that season. He did. He found the idol and the 50-50 coin at his tribe. Like, give or take. I mean, I get like some of the tribe he was with wasn't amazing players, but I mean, everybody knows stuff's hidden, and he was working harder than everybody. He won. I think he won 2 challenges, I believe, as well. Don't quote me on that.
I know he won.
Won one. Just won one.
Was it one? Okay.
Yeah, he won the one that where the idle hands he won. But he was,
I also would have given him sole credit for winning that final tribal challenge. Like, if that was like, we just had to give credit to one person, it's clear we'd give it to Connor. So Connor, you have an honorary second in my book.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I have Connor ahead of Corey and Allie in that season is because, I mean, I would almost bet would say 100% if he makes the final 3, he's going to win. I really do, because he didn't really burn anybody. Yes, he played aggressively, but he did not burn anybody over. He had really good social awareness. I think he thought people were with him more than they actually were. He picked the right people to align with too. Played his cards very greatly, and yeah, I mean, he played excellent. And I think you should have maybe put him in your top 10. I'm not gonna lie, but I definitely see why he didn't. Because these 15 to 7, 15 to 20 people, it's hard because they all are really good. But I would like to see Connor in the future where there's other bigger targets that are bigger than him. I guess we did kind of see that in his first season with an Adam, a Darius, Ness, Michael, you and stuff. But he just needed to learn a little bit, and he learned everything and came swinging in Summer Solstice. So
I'll be happy to coach him in a different season.
So Connor is.
But I'd be happy.
So yeah, Connor's my number 6. So now we're in our top 5. So go ahead, Richie, with your number 5.
Yeah. So before I get into my 5th person, again, another thing with Connor, I definitely do want to say he would have 100% won that season.
Yeah.
Had he made the finals. So I mean, Connor is definitely someone I'd also would be happy to see play again in the future. My number 5 might confuse people because 3, 4, and 5 kind of shifted back and forth as well. But my number 5 was Adam. And Adam was, again, another player who was going to make the top 10 regardless.
I thought you were going to leave him out, like Whitewater. I honestly thought you were maybe going to not put him in.
I left him, but he was on the list high enough. I know I had him higher than me. I know, it was Vin who was, I think, I forgot who.
Whatever. Anyway. Let's just focus on Wisconsin.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Adam, I mean, I don't think I have to go too much in depth with Adam. We all know he's a good player. We all know how good he is. I think it'd be just repeating a lot of the same Whitewater stuff. So I think it's very worth talking about why he's number 5 than any higher. Despite the fact he is a phenomenal strategic and physical player, he does kind of burn a couple people here and there, and they kind of leave him it kind of leaves a bad taste in some people's mouths here and there. But and I'm not talking about with myself, just kind of in the game, like people constantly be like, what the fuck is going on? And he does sometimes have a personality where it's like if he's sick of you, you're gonna know it, and that's something you should never have. Like people should never know you don't want to talk to them in this game, and I would know because I made a joke to the final three when I was filming them, and Adam this was like, "I'm sick of your shit," like not like word for word, but I could tell, and I'm like, "Oh, like I didn't say anything," but also it's because of the fact that I knew Adam was never gonna make the end unless he won every challenge. Like I don't remember a lot from Wisconsin 1, but I can kind of feel like I can guarantee confidently that if he had lost the Final Four challenge, I don't feel like they vote off John. I feel like Adam's the bigger target than John, but I mean, I could be wrong, but like, I feel like regardless, Adam's reputation is so big that he's always going to be a target early on, but something I do want to give Adam some credit for is the fact that when he is on the bottom, he's able to find a way to pull himself out of there, crawl back to the top of the well he's stuck in, and stand on top of it. And when he's on top, it's like Corey. When he's on top, Adam is on top. He will take control, and he will do it so well enough in a way where he'll at least be able to get someone to throw him a rope when someone inevitably pushes him back down into the well. So, Adam, I really did think about putting higher. It was a really hard pick between the top 5, and 3, 4, and 5 did shuffle around a lot, but I felt like 5th was kind of fair because I can't see him getting to the end of that. And if he does get to the end, I do think he wins against Ness and Darius.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I did forget to say about Ness before when talking about her and Emma, is that Ness did make the smart move of taking her out, whereas Emma didn't. Adam was kind of the victim of that. Like, I think we all knew he probably would have won unanimously or near unanimously if he made it to the end. The problem is that I can't see him making it to the end without winning out. And I do want to say Adam does get very lucky with the final 5 round. John called it out. Why would you vote off Vanessa over Adam when Vanessa had no win equity? That was because Adam, I do want to say, put in the time to make the right alliances.
Oh yeah. Yep.
With Ness and
Darius.
I'm tired. I'm not pulling a Vanessa. I'm genuinely tired. I didn't forget his name. But Adam was definitely close to make it higher. 3, 4, and 5 were very difficult for me. The time he did put in the game and hit that season was really good. Like, he did make the right moves. It's just because he was almost always at risk in some way, shape, or form throughout the game. Like, he was always being thrown out, almost always. And I don't know what else to say. Like, I really did want to put him higher, but it's just because once I explain the 4 players, I think you know what I mean with why I'm putting him here. So.
Yeah, I'll dive into Adam when I have him ranked. He is ranked still in my top 5. So yeah, my number 5 is one of his Lions members from that season is Darius. Darius said he's retiring officially, which I think is rightfully so. I mean, he's got nothing left to prove. Obviously, he never won the game, but he is like the best idol finder we've ever had, easily, anytime, ever. And he really developed his game. You know, he came a long way from the first time he played in Heroes vs. Villains in Whitewater, where, you know, he didn't really know a lot about Survivor, and he kind of just was kind of like a goat where he just kind of followed. And then 3, he came in Vengeance, played dominant, and then he just became a dominant force every time ever since then. But let's just focus on Wisconsin 1 with how he played. I think he made the right alliance with Adam and Ness, but I ultimately think he should have went with some other people because Adam would have beat him. And Ness, I mean, when I was voting, I mean, maybe I would have voted for Darius over Ness. I can't really remember a ton why Ness deserved it so much more than Darius, because pretty sure she got almost every vote except Adams. But yeah, I mean, he's an excellent player. He's one of the best we've ever had. He played pretty flawlessly in Wisconsin. I mean, he didn't seem like his name was in trouble that often. He did have it played an idol correctly too, where he would have gone out. What's new? Idol King plays an idol correctly when he's got his name on the block. And he found that advantage that could have really changed the game if he used it differently. But I don't know. There's not a ton to add about Darius. It's like, we know how good he is. He did similar stuff he did in Whitewater. He's still like one of the top players ever, no matter what you want to say. It's sad to see him go, but I think it was a good ending for him, seeing his girlfriend when he got to the end again, which he wanted to do. And it is really impressive that, I'll get into that when I get into him, that obviously there was actually a pretty good amount of threats that season. A lot of new people, but a lot of like names that people know, and still the fact that he was able to get that far when usually like Adam and Darius get out like 8th or 9th place because they're just so big of threats was very impressive. So Darius is my number 5th player. It's not like he played that much worse than Adam, but I just think Adam would have won just based on the personas and what people are saying. So Darius, Tuna, if you're watching, your number 5 man. Couldn't put you higher, but I guess it's pretty interchangeable. These next people still. It's kind of like with what you're saying with 5, 4, 3. But yeah, I got Darius at 5. So
Darius, I know you don't like me too much, but you might like me a lot more when hearing that you're my number 4 and not my number 5. No, like in all seriousness though, like kind of everything you said with Darius, he's actually my number 4. Mr. Emperor White, not Darius. So Darius, the Idol King, like he was definitely very high up on my list because he does play a good game, and I think something that a lot of people seem to forget is that Darius and Ness had a really great connection. They were, I don't know if I want to say working together because it was kind of back and forth, but they were always trying to make sure that like one was working the majority alliance, there was the minority alliance, and ultimately Ness's connections with the minority alliance definitely helped her out. But like Darius also knew he could get information from everyone because of the fact that Ness would always tell him what the minority alliance would be saying, in one way or the other, he'd get information. And it's kind of like everything you said before. It's literally kind of pinpoint that he's a phenomenal strategic player. He's great with finding idols, keeping himself off the block. I do unfortunately think he gets his ass kicked by Adam in the end. Like that's the only other thing that puts him below the other people, is that I do think there's a lot of cases I can see Darius getting to the end. Like unlike Adam and a couple other people below, I don't think there's a lot of cases where they get to the end. But with Darius, I can see a lot of cases for him getting to the end, especially that season. The question is, can he really win against? Like, who can he really win against? Like, it's that whole move against Vanessa at the Final 5, which really tanked his game, because had the Wisconsin 1 couple, I'll call them, took Vanessa over Adam, 100%, they have the game on lock.
Yep.
Because all one of them has to do is win immunity, and they go up to Vanessa and say, hey, we're going for John. Or they go up to John and say, hey, we're going for Vanessa. And
yeah, I mean,
really,
I think if Darius, I mean, obviously, I don't think he would have voted his girlfriend up, but I mean, he could have beat Vanessa or John, So
I mean, Ness wasn't afraid to vote him out before. I'll tell you that much from fans versus favorites.
Facts.
But yeah, like I have a lot of respect for Darius, and I mean, I don't know. It's sad that he says he's retired. I mean, maybe in the future he'll change his mind and come back for one last hurrah. Maybe not, but he always has my respect as a player because he is a phenomenal player. I know I'm not his favorite person, but he does have a lot of my respect because he is a phenomenal player. He knows what to do. He knows the right things to do. And it's one of the reasons why I literally said, despite the fact he screwed me over in Twist manner, I always told him if he would have won that challenge and got to the end, he would have won like unanimously or near unanimously.
Oh, yeah.
No matter who was at the end. Like, hell, even if I was at the end against Darius, I would have understood, like, hey, there's no way I would have won against him. Like, it's the fucking Idol King. So Darius was my number 4, so much respect to you, Darius.
All right, so my number 4, I know you'll be watching this, who this person is, but my number 4 is going to be Christian. Again, didn't really need to play again, obviously, does nothing to prove. Played in Wisconsin, impressive as hell. He didn't really keep his threat level down because you can't really manage your threat level, Christian, because of how big of a threat you are. Like, there's nothing you can do that's going to be, people are not going to say your name. It's just going to happen. And it's impressive as hell that he still finds ways to get through every round, line with the right people. It was really smart to make that alliance with the 3 other big returnees in Cody, Hunter, and Colin, because they needed each other there. I do get the point where, they want to stick together because as soon as one of them out, then the other one's going to get targeted. I got that. I just wish some of the other people would have just made the move and got them out. It would have been more entertaining. It was one of my favorite seasons we've ever done, no matter what season you're looking at. I mean, Christian found an idol, used it correctly, and then won that challenge, the Final 5, where he's probably going out there. And again, the only reason he's here is just because two of the people, a little spoiler, I think we're just played a little bit better than him this season. I mean, Christian did make the end again, and he earned his way there, winning that Final 4 little fire-making flip cup challenge. But yeah, he kind of unfortunately did a little bit what his brother did in the season before and didn't manage the jury as well as who won the season, Hunter did. Um, I mean, Christian, I think a lot of people, if they would have saw it like back, all the stuff that he did that like wasn't like shown at face value, like to their face, I think he would have got even more credit and deserved more votes than what he got. But yeah, I mean, everyone knows how good Christian is. He's a challenge beast. He turns it up when he wants to. And I will say, it was very impressive. I did it where there's 12 rounds the whole season, and he went to tribal 10 of the 12 of them. So I mean, he avoided like they won that the second challenge where you got out, and then they won the very last one right before the merge where Alex got out. Those are the only times he didn't go to tribal council. So I will say that is very fucking impressive. There's the one F bomb for the show for me, but
Guarantee he wouldn't have voted me out.
no, he wouldn't have. I know he wouldn't have. But yeah, I mean, Christian,
He told me he wouldn't have.
I mean, Christian, don't be mad at me. You're at 4. I mean, it's interchangeable. Like my top like 5, it's like pretty like you can if you want to argue it, I'm not gonna like I'm gonna be like yeah, I get that. I just think the other people A would have won if they made it there for sure, and B maybe just managed the jury a little bit better. I mean, Christian's Christian's the best whitewater player easily. You know, I think we voted for him or he was top 2 for you, but um, yeah, I mean, Christian had nothing left to prove at all, but it was cool to see him back in Wisconsin and really helping these other new players, take some pages out of his book how to play the game because it's still impressive what is able to pull out of his ass sometimes in the game
Definitely.
when he should be out early.
I was gonna make a joke about jury votes, but I still remember he's always got more votes than I did for jury. So,
So yeah, if you want to go,
Alright,
you want to go on your number 3.
my number 3 is Dolphin Sam.
Holy fuck! Forgot about him.
It's because of the fact that he literally did. Like, okay, maybe it's coming from me because in Twist Manor, for those of you who don't remember, that was the third Survivor Whitewater season. Essentially, it's kind of like a steamroll. Like 2 people take control of the entire game, with one person being like the clear person running things, and the other person being the little ear in the big leader's like right ear or whatever. But Dolphin Sam kind of is both the leader and the person in the ear. Like, he's in everyone's ears all the time. And essentially, even though, again, anyone could have possibly won that season, and it is a smaller season, some people could consider Twist Manor 2.0. Like, Dolphin Sam, with what he did in the game, he controlled everything. And what I do like is when he explained it, he talked a lot about the fact that Survivor is a social game. He knew not to burn people. He knew to, like, bond with the people and get on good terms with them all throughout the entire game. The entire game, I literally kept thinking to myself, like, if Dolphin Sam keeps going the rate he's at, he's gonna win.
Yeah.
And he did, and like when he won, I was honestly super hyped for him. Like, I was very excited because I'm like, dude, like one of the fans from Fans vs. Favorites got a win in. And actually I think he's like the third fan who got their win in actually after Vin and Corey, but that's a different story. But Dolphin Sam, like, he did kind of do what Darius did, and does it always make for the most entertaining season? No. But it doesn't mean that strategically and socially that it's not the best for his game.
Yeah.
Like, he did ultimately play the best that season for a reason. He won the game for a reason, unanimously, with a perfect game for a reason, because he knew what to do. He controlled everyone, and I do think a part of it is also a bit of luck, where the only people that could have possibly turned on him, like, I wanted to work with them, but if it got down to a final 3 situation, like if I was in a position I'm in, love you, Dolphin Sam, but 100%, I would have taken you out. Yeah, anyways, like, Dolphin Sam knew exactly what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Like, he knew what to do. He knew how to get everyone on his side for everything whatsoever. And just with the bonds he made with people in the game, he was smart enough to get people to do what he wanted them to do. So, ultimately, all in all, it just did a lot of great stuff overall for his game. So
yeah, he played excellent. His win was very impressive. I had him at number 7, but I get why you put him at 3. He played a perfect game. I mean, no matter what you want to say, cast wise, season, it wasn't his fault that that's who he had to go against, and that wasn't his fault that people backed out last second. So now my number 3, which I think he didn't make your top 10, which I think's a little bit ridiculous, honestly, is Cody. I mean, come on. But Cody played excellent as always. He made a crazy move saving Christian with that idol when he didn't even need to, but it was smart that he aligned with Christian, and I know them two really wanted to make the end together, and it would have been really awesome if they did. Um, but yeah, Cody played excellent. The reason why I have him over Christian is because from what a lot of the jury was saying, a lot of what people said in their exit interviews when they got voted off during the game, still when motions were high, is a lot of people would have voted for Cody to win the game if he made the end. So you got to put that in consideration. Yeah, maybe Christian played a little bit better than Cody. You can say either way, but Cody's he's one of the best players either way you want to look at it. I know Whitewater, he was up there top two, top three. I think he was number two for me. And then here, I mean he still just it just amazes me how he's able to like never make himself a threat really when he is like one of the biggest threats there. And he plays it pretty perfectly. Made the right alliances at times where they needed some extra votes. That he was really working to save Christian a lot of the game. And he didn't have to worry about himself until it's like, oh, is it really that going to be that hard of a move? It's like, okay, well, Christian won the Final Five challenge. Who do
Yeah,
I
like
want
I
out here,
honestly,
Cody or Hunter? I mean, it's like Cody would have won.
yeah,
That's why I have him at 3.
Cody, I honestly thought about putting him on my list, but I mean, I wanted to for sure guarantee the winners some spots, and then there were some obvious people, and then there was one extra spot, but then I really thought of like win equity because I mean, granted, I've heard a lot from a couple specific people, and I'll jokingly mention that later on. About the game, and I honestly, not that I don't think Cody could have won. I mean, like, obviously, I think he definitely would have had a great chance, but it's just kind of from what I've seen and heard about Hunter's game and Christian's game, and even, like, Chris C's game. I'll call him CC at this point. Like, even when I heard about CC's game, like, I feel like there's a good chance they could have given him a good run for his money. Could it have been a full, like, sprint? Maybe not, but I don't know. Like, he was definitely somewhat close to my list, and I am going to give him a shout out because he was pretty also close to somewhat making the list. But it is hard. Like, when there's, like, so many big names you want to put
Yeah.
in this list, it is hard, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I think it deserves the props. I don't know what you heard, but I'm like pretty confident he would have won against almost anybody at the end there. Maybe not Hunter for sure, but there's a reason Hunter said while the game was going on, do I really want to sit next to Cody? Yeah, I could probably beat him, maybe, but Cody's very good at jury management, not pissing people off too. So the reason I
I
like
can.
have some of these people over like the winners, it's like if they sometimes there's like uncontrollables in Survivor. It's like it's just gonna come down to who wins that Final Four challenge a lot of times, or just like running out of there's like nothing left you can do, and that's why I have Cody like this high because he would have won if he made it there. And then Christian, I mean, he made the end still, and um, he just didn't really build enough didn't build enough jury people to vote for him. But I mean, it's not like they both played excellent. I mean, they're great. They're one of the best we'll ever see, no matter what happens. So you can head in with your number 2 here.
So my number two, and my number one and two very much switched a couple times. I definitely think that the final tribal of evolution really kind of impacted this partially. It's Christian. I really did want to put him at number one. I honestly was so close to putting him at number one because, I mean, it's like everything you said before. He is a phenomenal player. There's a reason he won Legends. When he said he was coming back in, I thought he was going to be one of the first 3 out, just reputation alone. But the fact that he made a run for the end despite attending almost every single vote, it's like it's a big thing, you know? Like, he is a phenomenal player. He knows how to play from the bottom and from the top. He can do it flawlessly. The only problem, and the only thing that put him under my number one, which at this point now saying what I said before, it's probably obvious who it's going to be. But I mean, the only reason that he's number two and not number one is that towards the end, he kind of takes a hard fall where essentially it's kind of like you can tell he's essentially kind of the bigger target now. Like, he's essentially kind of on the run for the end. Whereas in Legends, you saw Christian was essentially in control towards the end, or at least somewhat in control. In Evolution, he was kind of on a run towards the end, and I think that definitely kind of like with other people having a lot of control over the end game where Christian didn't have control. Like, the end game is some of the most important rounds of the game because those are the rounds that jury really pays attention to. Not that you shouldn't be playing the rest of the game, but if you don't have any form of control at the end game, you're shit out of luck. You're up the river without a damn paddle. Like, you're screwed. Like, you need to have some form of control at the end game to guarantee your spot at the end. And I definitely think Christian got very lucky at the Final Four challenge, like passage challenge, whatever it's called. It wasn't placed. Because if it wasn't, he gets voted out 3-1. Let's be completely honest. Like, there's no way Nate was going to vote for him. There's no way Hunter's going to vote for CC. So, I mean, Christian definitely gets some very, very big moments of luck. But I do think that, Christian is a phenomenal player. And again, 2 and 1 were very interchangeable. It was very close. Like, if it was like percentage, like 0.001, like that's how close it was. I really did want to put Christian number 1, but it's just the end game and some other stuff you said, just a little bit of jury management stuff. Because I mean, granted, Christian still did it better than me. I'll give him that. He did it miles better than me than I ever could.
Yeah,
but,
and I mean,
what isn't? It isn't that hard to do things better than this.
I mean, we're nitpicking here. I mean, for me, like my 5 through 1, like they're like if I was doing this as like a tier list, like where it's like, oh yeah, these are all in the same tier. My 1 through 5 would all be actually in the same tier because they're all so damn good at the game and what they do. And sometimes it comes down to luck a little bit and jury management, and just if someone manages the jury just a little bit better than you, and that's what happened with Christian. Unfortunately, I mean, I get the argument putting him at 2. I mean, I could have switched him from 4 to 3. Moved him up from 4 to 3 to 2. I mean, it's
exactly, yeah. Like, I mean, Christian's worst game is better than my best game. Like, I do want to give him that too. Like, he is a phenomenal player, and just the fact that he was able to make it to the end again after just that huge thing we saw in Legends less than a year and a half prior, or over a year and a half prior. It's like it's still a big thing. So, I do got to give Christian a lot of props. He was very, very close to making number 1. So
yeah. All right. So yeah, Christian. We know he's an excellent player. I had him at 4, Richie had him at 2. We understand the reasonings why. Pretty flawless player. So now my number 2, which Richie already touched on him at number 5, is Adam for me. And it's tough, 5 through 2 for me, it's really interchangeable. I do think number 1, me and Richie will have the same person, so we'll just bounce off each other for that. But yeah, Adam, I mean, if he wins that Final 3 challenge against Ness and Darius, he wins the game almost unanimously probably. And I mean, he did kind of get fucked over from a Final 2 twist. He probably thought it'd be a Final 3, and I think if he's against them 2 in a Final 3, he also wins the game. The thing that really impressed me, if he didn't have anything else he needed to improve on his game ever, would have been... What's up?
No, I was running numbers in my head. You can keep going. I was thinking.
No, you're good. The reason why it's like, okay, well, why I have him a little bit higher than like Christian and Cody, it's like, okay, well, Adam doesn't has nothing to improve on his game really, but that season, with the reputation he has, which all these players have, the fact that he didn't have to rely on winning challenges or finding idols, he relied pretty heavily on his social game. And there's even points in the game where he even tried to align with Michael, and he showed, honestly showed loyalty. It's like, I voted with you around like 1 or 2 rounds in a row, and now you don't even want to take the chance to vote with me, which obviously we get why Michael wanted him out. I mean, who wants to sit with Adam at the end? But he's a pretty flawless player. He has nothing left to prove except win the game, and he's come really close. Kind of gets fucked over by a few different things a few times in different seasons, but just his appearance in Wisconsin, I mean, he was the best player that season in my opinion. Again, the best player doesn't always win the game. It happened in Kevin Fever with Dolphin Sam, and I think it happened in Evolution here with who our number 1 is going to be. So, I mean, Adam's an excellent player, smart as hell, great physical player, but I really want to give him props where he always had it, but the social aspect of the game he always had, but he just put from being like 90% good at it to 100 in the season, and he played excellent. I understand why he voted for Darius over Ness in the game too. I get that. I mean, yeah, Adam would have won. Social game domination. I think social game's always the most important aspect of Survivor, especially in ours too, when it's limited time and you need to make fast decisions. So Adam is my number 2, but again, it is pretty interchangeable between my 5 through 2. But so if you want to add anything to Adam there, I mean, you already kind of talked about him, but.
Yeah, I mean, I was running numbers before because when you said that, I was like, oh Like, I need to check this now. Like, it definitely would have been a lot harder for Darius to win if it's a final three, because I do think Adam gets both finals, Sam, for sure. I can definitely see Ness still getting Vanessa's vote, possibly, but it's also like, where do Michael and Brienne go? Where does John go? You know, I kind of just rely on those three, you know, for who wins the game. But I was trying to run the numbers before. But yeah, Adam definitely is like a good player. I feel like he definitely. That's one of the biggest things I love about Survivor Wisconsin right now is I feel like for a lot of players, it's kind of like their redemption arc. Like if players were screwed over in Survivor Whitewater, come to Survivor Wisconsin, you'll do a little bit better here, at least in some way, unless your name is my name, which then you're fucked. But or poor Stive.
Yeah,
but like Adam definitely, you know, last couple seasons he played beforehand, we got him out very early, you know, and fans versus favorites because we're like, okay, we want to get to the end. That's a dumb mistake. So me and Corey were like, bye bye. And then Legends was just kind of because like he's clearly the bigger target out of the final 8 at that point in the game in Legends, so it's like kind of obvious. But in Wisconsin 1, despite the fact he was one of the bigger targets, he was still able to make his way to the end game. He knew what to do, and again, he has a very high chance of winning in that final 2. It's final 3, a little bit more rocky, but I still think he has a very good chance at winning. So
yeah, and I mean too that
like everything you said, yeah, like 3, 4, and 5 are interchangeable for me, but 2 and 1 are always going to be like Christian and my number 1, which I'll say in a couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and that too, like you touched on earlier with Adam, that final 5 where they kept Adam over Vanessa. It's like that's where it shows that Adam just really aligned with the right people in Ness and Darius. Where it's like I feel like most people would have just been like, yeah, I mean,
well, even in certain alliances, like most seasons, in like I feel like if say same type of situation except different people, you know, and he's still aligned with a different couple or whatever, but like most people would have taken advantage of that and said, fuck the alliance, I'm getting you out now. But like I think they were smart enough to not burn him in that moment, because we all know what happens when he gets burned. I would know.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, no, all jokes aside, like I definitely can see him making a pretty good run for the money if he gets to the end. Just I really did think about putting him a lot higher, but like 3, 4, and 5 were somewhat interchangeable. They did keep swapping to the last second, and at the last minute I was kind of like Darius over Adam, because I think, you know, even though Darius had less chances to win at the end, I still feel like he has a lot more chances at getting to the end, whereas for Adam, he kind of, I don't want to say he had to win out till the end, but it's kind of like just with the way he is, physically and strategically and reputation-wise, it's just...
Yeah. I mean, I
don't respect him. I have a lot of respect for him as a player. It's just...
Yeah,
can he realistically make the end?
I just think because I'm not going off of what it should have, could. I'm going off what happened. I think Adam played better than Darius. Yeah. That's my opinion. But so yeah, those we got all the way up to 2 now. So we can say our number 1 together. Number 1 is Hunter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the same time. That was like what?
So you can go ahead and give your reasonings why first, and then I'll add on to it.
I mean, I think it's kind of obvious why Hunter's the number 1 spot, and totally not because he explained it to me over and over the last here and there, every last couple of months he could. But all jokes aside, well, jokes are based in reality, but all jokes aside, I mean, Hunter did play pretty phenomenally. The only people who realistically would have been against him or could have crossed him or did cross him, he was able to essentially either push them so far to the bottom where they fumbled their way out of the game or out of a win. He essentially kind of like got the only people who he started questioning and hesitating towards. Like he kind of played someone like Boston Rob, which he was even talking to me, where he told me flat out, like when I started to kind of not want to go with what he wanted to do, he was like, I want to get you out type of thing. And it gave me like Boston Rob Redemption Island vibes. And I'm dude, like it's like Redemption Island had they replaced a couple of the people in each tribe with like actual like players.
Yeah.
Low key, like like literally, like Hunter did play pretty good. And even after he makes like questionable moves, like getting rid of people like me and Zach, like if I would have played with him, would I let him get to the end? No, but I still would have worked with him close to the end. Like, had I not gotten voted off the one I did, I still wanted to work with them. And I don't know about Zach. I don't talk to Zach, but but with Zach, I know like Zach clearly is gonna go to the end with Hunter if he had the chance. That's the game Zach was playing. But overall, like even after he makes questionable moves, like getting me and Zach out, he's still on top and in a really great position all the time. And I definitely think like the story arc he's able to utilize towards the end of being like, hey, I didn't think of myself as like a smart puzzle person, but I won 3 puzzle challenges and blah 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 blah. Like he did that towards the end, campaigning to everyone, and I definitely think that is a great thing to do. Kind of what Allie did. Like you list something of like an evolution of yourself within the game. And I definitely think that's a great thing to do at the final tribal. So, I mean, Hunter definitely, even though he did kind of argue a little bit with people at the final tribal, like, when he started doing that, I looked at Maddie, I'm like, never want to do that. Like, we thought Christian was going to win. So the fact that Hunter kind of had us, not like had us fooled, but like the fact that he was able to get support from the jury. And kind of with what I was saying before with, I think it was like Corey, I want to say, with Hunter and Christian, I do feel like a part of their luck comes from who made the jury and who didn't. Like,
yeah, for sure.
If I was in the game, I definitely would have been supporting Christian. But of course, I didn't see every part of Hunter's game. But they say like the 5 other pre-jurors were on the jury, but they only know what they know. I probably would have went for Christian just because I didn't see the rest of Hunter's game, and I would have been impressed with Christian making it to the end twice in a row. Yeah. Maddie seemed like she was leaning Christian, but I can't guarantee that. Maybe she would have voted Hunter. I don't know. Like, it would have been a close vote for Christian and Hunter for me, but I would have originally had leaned Christian. Like, knowing then what I knew then, I probably would have did Christian, but knowing now, maybe it could have changed. Or maybe they could have even given me a better campaign. But, like, and Hunter, I mean, let's be honest, Hunter knows how to give a good campaign now that he's been in the finals 3 times of his 5 times playing. So it's like that's another boon to his games that he's been there so many times before. I don't know if there's too much more to talk about. Like Hunter is just a pretty good player. I think he knows it. Even for people who didn't want to vote for him, he was able to still kind of be like, yeah, your opinion's valid, but you're wrong. In a way that doesn't piss him off. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think a quote people say is usually Flashy isn't the best, but in this way, Flashy was the best, and that's why he did get the number 1 spot for me. I mean, I'm going to go with what the majority of the people that actually played the game with him went, and they voted for him to win pretty handedly. I think he did play excellent. He won 3 challenges where the ones probably weren't in his favor to win. He definitely did make some questionable moves where he didn't, like, that could have really caused him, like the one with you getting out, I mean, I get it, but the one that was just really, I thought, like, didn't make any sense was getting Zach out. And I know he said he wanted to prove loyalty to like Christian them to get to go with them for a few more rounds, which I get. And he won the game, so it ended up working out. I mean, Christian played a really close second game to him, I think. I did vote for Hunter for player of the season for that season. But yeah, Hunter definitely is the best player for just Wisconsin. We're not even talking about like his past stuff where he's made it and won before. I'm just talking about Wisconsin alone. Just his game in Wisconsin should be number 1. Again, I mean, if someone wants to sit here and argue that Christian is number 1 or whatever, I definitely can see the argument, and I'm not going to say you're wrong because, again, the people in my top 5 are pretty much all in the same tier. It's just who Hunter won the game out of the 5 that I have in my top 5, and he did the best jury management, and he did take some shots to get Christian out and some other thing, and it didn't work out. And he was able to recover with that. And
like
Hunter
was not afraid to take shots when he did. So
yeah, and I mean it was pretty cool. It was pretty like good move that he was somehow able to convince Christian a little bit that he didn't vote for him when he did when they got Colin out, even though he ended up finding out the truth from Chris, Cece, your boy, like you said. But Hunter deserves to be number 1. It just comes down to he won like the best season we had with the most competition. You know, obviously there's past threat levels and past experience and from Whitewater, but just Wisconsin alone is what we're talking about, and it was the best season, biggest threats. He overcame a lot. He made some mistakes, but he made up for them. So, I mean, it does kind of come down to like who wins that Final 4 puzzle challenge, you know. So he won it, so he deserves to be number 1. So,
I
mean, want to add anything else about Hunter? You want to add anything else about Hunter?
Yeah, sorry. I was just gonna add on just again, like if Hunter would have given, if I was on the jury, would I have been a little bitter? Yeah, but if he still would have given me a good campaign, I would have at least considered it. Like Hunter definitely did earn his spot at the end. He definitely earned his win. I mean, I don't feel like he really burned anyone on the jury. Where it's like, if you're gonna burn people, do it. I don't want to say burn anyone. You realistically shouldn't burn anyone at all. But if you're gonna burn someone, make sure it's someone who realistically isn't gonna get back in through a comeback, or someone who is for sure always gonna be out pre-merge. Yeah, if it happens, don't do it on the jury. So I don't know. I mean, even Hunter could have given. I probably could have voted for Hunter if he gave me a really good campaign, because I think he knew I wouldn't have wanted to be bitter. But yeah, I kind of just all of that. So
yeah, I mean, so that's our top 10, folks. I mean, we had only the same number 8 and number 1, but it was still pretty similar. So just gonna run through our rankings really quick for you guys, the viewers at home watching. So I will include my top 15 just because I gave that many. But so at 15 I had Dakota, 14 Emma, 13 Allie, 12 John, 11 Colin, 10 Ness, 9 Chris, 8 Corey, 7 Dolphin Sam, 6 Connor, 5 Darius, 4 Christian, 3 Cody, 2 Adam, and number 1 Hunter.
So everyone back at home watching this, I was stupid and didn't think to do 15, 14, 13, but when am I not stupid? I think we all know that's
I mean, you did kind of mention a few people though, like you did say like just outside of it was like
never like official. Like, yeah. I mean, if people want me to go officially like 13 to 20, then let me know. But my number 12 was Connor. My number 11 was Liz. My number 10 was Allie. My number 9 is Dakota. My number 8 is Corey. My number 7 is Emma. My number 6 is my Survivor sister Ness. My 5 is Adam. 4 is Darius. 3 is Dolphin Sam. 2 is my brother from a different mother, Christian. And my number 1 is Hunter.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys. And really quick to end it, this doesn't have to do with the rankings, but so it looks like that's going to be phase 1 for Survivor Wisconsin. 4 seasons, 4 great seasons. Maybe there'll still be some more videos kind of like this until we get to the 5th season. Maybe some other topics that me or Richie or other people will get involved and talk about. I hope you guys watched Evolution. If not, you should go watch it right now because it's entertaining as hell. I actually did like an episode for almost every single round, so there's a lot of content with it. You won't get bored of it.
For people watching at home who want to play, definitely watch Evolution, because if you want to know how to perfectly play the game and the way you should be playing the game, like if you're a newbie wanting to play, watch Evolution, watch all of her seasons preferably, but like definitely watch for Evolution, because even the new players, you want to play low key, watch them in a newbies. You want to play hardcore high key, watch for Hunter and Christian. You want to play in the middle, well, maybe look a little bit towards other players like Colin and Emma, maybe. I don't know. So
yeah, thanks for adding that, because the plan is season 5 hopefully will be all new players, and we're hoping maybe season 6 will be all new players too, to kind of get some new faces in this thing. It's kind of ending a chapter a bit in our Survivor Wisconsin. Phase 2 will be starting with season 5. I'm not saying you won't see people from phase 1 who played in the future, but there's a lot of these people that came back from Whitewater, like just kind of one more time, that you probably won't see again. I mean, Hunter and Darius said they're not going to play again, so I don't really expect them to. People like Christian, Cody, and Adam, maybe, but I don't know for sure. Everybody else, there's a good chance maybe still. But we're really hoping to get new people for season 5 and potentially 6 if we can form a good cast around it, where we do a season that's all new people, fresh start, new perspective. We really need some new faces for a Survivor to keep this going, because we've almost done everything you can do. Evolution was a great stepping stone to get some old faces back, to kind of hype it up a bit and get some new faces a chance to compete against some big names. So 5 and 6, we're hoping to get all newbie seasons. And then after that, maybe the game's going to be changing a little bit. It might be a little bit of a different format that we might test out to switch up the game a bit. So keep an eye out for that. But just check us out here on our Instagram, idle.identifiers. That's where you'll get all the updates of like when stuff's getting posted, playlist on there. And then on our YouTube here, give us a subscribe. And we have a playlist for every single season that you can watch the episodes in order. So yeah, and if you're interested in playing, like Richie said, in the future, reach out to that Instagram, DM me. We'll start talking to you. We're going to be doing stuff. It's obviously going to be in Wisconsin, in like the Waukesha County and Milwaukee County area. Maybe we'll do an Airbnb again for a season. I don't know. It was really fun for Cabin Fever. We did season 3 and 4 here outside fully, which is the first times we did that, and they were probably the 2 best seasons out of the 4. So
Except for the rain.
except for the rain is
Except
correct.
for the rain.
We were an actual survivor a
This
bit for once.
filming was soaked through. I was so mad. It was a good shirt and everything for filming. Even if it does rain, though, guys, it's a fun game. Rain or shine, it's a really fun game. You know, snow or grass, whatever weather we get, it's always a fun time. So
Yeah, well, phase one is pretty much closing. There'll probably maybe still be a couple videos like this talking about phase one and those 4 seasons. But phase two will be starting with season 5. I'm not sure when we're going to do it yet. We thought about maybe potentially doing a Halloween themed season, but it just didn't really come into fruition. But maybe if we're hoping maybe it could be in the winter time, but it have to be indoors. So maybe that's an Airbnb type situation. So maybe like after the holidays in January, February, or if not, we'll probably do early spring. But yeah, if you're interested, haven't played, just reach out. If you know who I am personally and you have me on like Snapchat or Instagram, message me. Don't feel scared to it or anything. And it might seem intimidating, but I would say 95% of the people that have played have loved it. So definitely give it a shot. It's a fun time. Chance to win some money, chance to meet some new people. And it's just like it's just kind of like a one, not one in a lifetime,
in
but
a
more
lifetime
like,
experience.
yeah, you're not really going to be able to find stuff like around here to do something like this. So yeah, if you want to add anything else, Richie.
Yeah, I was gonna say for those of you watching who only know me, if you want to get to the Instagram to talk to Devin or anyone else running that account, or if you want to just find more information out and like contact me or Devin or whoever you need to contact, let me know. Hit me up. I'm definitely more than happy to talk to the fans. I was the O2 fan favorite, so it's my obligation at this point. I know I definitely have a lot of friends of mine who are definitely interested in playing next time. So I'm excited for all these new people to come in. Never be afraid to come in. Like I was the one kid who has autism came in. I didn't think I was gonna do well. I'm definitely not the best, but I do consider myself to be like kind of like BoJack Horseman, like a former good in this area type of thing. But like dear God, we'll be copyright struck in like 10 minutes. But seriously, it's a fun time. Like you'll have a lot more fun than you think you will. So I'm definitely very excited to see all y'all compete the next couple seasons. And I can't wait to either film you, interview you, do whatever. Like I'm excited to see what you guys do. So best of luck to whoever competes, and I can't wait to see or meet you. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Again, this is just our opinions. Obviously, like there's a lot of opinions, and don't be upset if we didn't rank you as high as you think you deserve it. Because if you won the game or if you think you're it, you're it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. See you later.
have fun, guys.